Alright, so Gixmer, what is your role in Team Goobers anyway for this upcoming tournament? Are you the team captain or perhaps some other
In terms, sorry, of team management.
team
Uh,
management?
well, in terms of team management, the owner obviously, and someone. There's no one really secondary that's like also getting scrims as well and doing all the like management stuff like that. It's just me. In
Alright.
terms of in game, uh, we're testing out maybe someone possibly IGLing. Most likely for now, that's gonna be me, but otherwise, I'm just hopping, I guess. I don't know.
Alright. Yeah, that's no problem. Your first opponents in the quarterfinals is going to be up against Nexus Gaming Counterblocks. What do you think about your opponents?
Uh, well, first of all, I think it's unfortunate Hogwarts had to get DQ'd and replaced by a lesser team, no offense, in Nexus Gaming.
Do you believe
Uh,
Hogwarts was a greater opponent than Nexus Gaming?
yeah, I think they definitely. I mean, I think the brackets would have been different because like the timing when they randomize it, but I think they could have definitely gotten further than Nexus Gaming would.
I see.
Um, as for Nexus Gaming themselves, looking at their roster right now, I mean, it just really depends on the server. It's not. It's a team that, I mean, any team that's an RSL is gonna be a team you're gonna have to be like worried about. But we're more than happy with having to go against them in the first round than other teams.
I see. Looks like most of your roster has currently had a previous win at RSL North America Season 2 finals. Are you planning on continuing to win another tournament for some of your members of your team?
Um, well, last season was kind of our, hey, we're trying to win this, let's get first place season, and that's where we brought in players that we thought were better and would do like give us a higher chance to win. But this season, it's more like now that we have a title, even though it's like, only we beat one other team to get it. But now that we have one, uh, we're just, it's more of a friend group. We're playing to like, we're not playing to win necessarily, we're just playing to not lose.
With that being said, there was a poll I had made concerning which team do you think will win RSL at Christmas, and your team was actually came out on top as the most favorited team to win. How do you feel about that?
Um,
Or rather, most likely to win.
I feel like those are troll picks. I I mean, looking at our side of the bracket, we definitely have a chance to go to the final as for winning the whole thing.
Ah,
That's probably another story, but the finals are a best of three, so anything can happen.
I see. Well, most of your players are also decorated in um, the BPL G and Q ranks as well. Do you think there's any merit in talking about that much at all?
Um, I think BPL for right now, really, I mean, it's something to take note of when you're looking at the team's roster, like how many BPLs they have and what BPL they are, like S or G or Q. But in the end, we've seen some teams upset other teams. Like for example, it was uh, CJ versus Asgard, where CJ won, and nobody really expected that to happen, but they did, and they were on like the lower caliber of BPL
I
and
see.
like a lower skill level team, kind of. Well, that's what people thought they were going in.
All right. And there's a interesting part of your team that I was interested in was a guy named V VQC or VQ or
Vixxy.
Vixxy.
Yeah, yeah,
He
Vixxy.
has actually had a tournament win in a team called Eliminators for. Oh, I just got it. Eliminators. RSL Minor Season 2. What do you think about that member of your team?
Vixxy. He's probably the person I've known in CD for the longest time
Hmm,
since I believe 2017. During that whole time, we've owned teams together, and over that time, he's always just been improving. And I mean, before he wasn't even a rank, and he got himself to be one of the only current S players in BPLS. So
wow.
he's a good player.
Do you
I
believe
believe
he's one of your stars of the team then?
I believe he's the best in the team, and if anything, like top three NA. I don't know where I'd put him in the top three, but definitely top three.
I see.
And I mean, NA's kind of dead, so that's not really saying much, but still one of the best.
I see. Well, after if you do defeat Nexus Gaming, you're up against NTN and Skrmacha Rabastra. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
Which
no
team do
problem.
you hope are you more scared of if they pass for the semifinals?
Scared of? Uh, I'd rather use the word worried, because
Oh yeah,
if
that is true. More like more concerned about really.
yeah, because the Scrim, I'm not saying the EU team. If they win, there's a chance we might, and it's gonna be a BO1. So if they win, it's a chance we might have to play a BO1 in an EU server where all of our players is NA and one Asian. But if NTN win, in my opinion, they're a better team than them, so they're gonna be more difficult to beat even on an NA server.
I see.
So both teams have the capability to like take us out. As for the one that I'm more worried about, probably NTN, because they're the one that's most likely gonna pass the first one now.
I see. Anyway, how long have you been playing counterblocks though?
Um, probably late like CBCL. So this is before RSL, like late CBCL S3. Uh, which would probably be middle, like somewhere middle early 2017.
Uh, I started playing somewhere in about 2018. It was
Oh, nice.
you know, I was just playing. I just, I don't know why I stopped playing CS:GO, but I found counterblocks and I was actually enjoying it. So I played counterblocks a lot.
It's plenty fun if you're playing with friends. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. I do enjoy it quite often. What's your favorite gun in counterblocks?
Oh, that goes without saying. The op easily. Well,
Yeah.
it's between the op and the MP9. The
Oh,
MP9 is something I have access to almost every round, and if I'm on good ping, it's just such a liability because of, well, me personally, how I believe like how close I'm able to get to my opponents before we like initiate a fight. But then there's always the op, like my teammate. I don't want to say much about myself because I don't want to grade myself. That's just bias in there.
yeah.
But my teammates are totally fine with putting me on a singular site and like not well see putting me by myself on a site and having who would be the second player play mid or somewhere else.
Mm.
So
Do you
like
have any
they,
particular favorite maps in general?
if I don't have to play mid, I love cash. Like if I don't have to play
Mm.
mid, mid's
Yeah.
just atrocious. But
Yeah. Do you prefer T
favorite
side or CT side on that map?
CT easily, but my favorite map would be Dust 4 on CT.
Mm. What do you think about that? Your favorite weapon was like the op or MP9. What do you think about the op getting a price increase?
There's some expletives I want to say about that, but I'm not going to.
Hmm.
I think raising the price was the right call. Maybe not up 1,000. I think that was a bit too extreme to raise it 1,000 because in a scrim, sorry, I played recently. It would have definitely helped to have an op more often where like it'd be 4,750 like oh sick I can buy an op I can hold this easily
Yeah, I can
like
see that. Yeah,
a
I've
lot more.
noticed in my games, op was purchased far less often.
Yeah, like more rounds could have been won if I had an op rather than me ecoing to get one because it's like way too expensive. If it was like 5,000 or like 5,150, yeah, whatever. But 5,750,
Yeah,
it's a bit too much. And that's because like the hitboxes are bigger and it's easier to hit shots, which
that
is
is true.
understandable.
As for me, I think I just enjoy the good old AK-47. Just, the classic.
Yeah, it's fun to get kills with, especially for me since I don't use it as often.
What motivates you to play counterblocks often? If you do often enough.
Uh, Counterblocks itself, I think it's a dumb game. Playing it's unhealthy, all of the above. But as like similar to the reason I signed Goobers up again with a bunch of friends is to be playing with close friends. Like I would never be really playing solo. I'd always be playing with someone, and it just make it like 100 times more enjoyable to play the game rather than just playing it for another motive.
I guess a lot of people might be wondering, how did you get commentator in the first place?
Uh, well, it wasn't really that I got commentator, it was that I got streamer, and at like early on, like in CBRM Pro League, there wasn't really any commentators or an extra man lying around, so I'd have to commentate as well, and uh, I don't know the right word, but like I'm infamously known for my monotonish and I don't know boring voice, I
Ah,
guess.
yes, there was an associated meme with your commentary in which people
Oh, I've seen all
called
of
you
those.
dead fish, I believe, was
I
one
mean,
of those.
is what originally I just did it because I had to, but I started doing it on my own streams because I didn't want to be responsible for what someone else was saying on my stream. Like if they're commentating and the other commentators at the time, not gonna name anyone, but they tend to be more biased and a bit more rude towards players when they mess something up.
Ah, I see.
Whereas I tend to always try and be neutral
Yeah,
and always stick to analysis rather than any
impartial.
backlash. Yeah.
That's always a fair thing for a caster or commentator. Do you have any favorite skins, actually, in Counterblocks?
Um, Having one of those. Oh no, the MP9. I believe it's the MP9 Wilderness. It's like a blue MP9 with these cartoon animals on it. I don't know. It just looks pretty stupid.
Hmm. I wanted to get the SG Kitty Cat one, but I don't think that's available anymore. And you
That
can't trade it.
was yeah, it was getting really expensive. Then like the whole trading thing happened.
Yeah. I think. I mean, what are your overall thoughts on this tournament for RSL Christmas? Do you
Um,
think it'll be a lot of fun?
it'll be for me. It'll be plenty fun because I'm playing with the people I want to play with rather than a team that's trying to win.
I see.
Um, I know another teams. I mean, other teams might not feel the same way because, well, maybe they do, but there's no prize this tournament, and there wasn't really one last one. Like when we won RSL, we didn't get our 5K, so just having no prize, it's like, what are you playing for? And at least with my team, we have something to play for, which is like with each other. So, um, and as for the teams, like obviously since there's no prize, maybe lesser, like I don't know, lesser skilled teams might have joined and got accepted, but all of the teams are really capable and they have pretty decent rosters. I don't think there's one team really that doesn't belong here.
Let me see.
Well, I do think there's one, but maybe I'll refrain from saying which one it is.
That's all good. All right. Well, what do you think might be secretly a dark horse in this tournament? Surprise upset that might come out of nowhere.
Well, so me and my friends were doing pick'ems for this tournament, just like we were bored and we just did some.
Yeah, I was
Uh,
planning on releasing a public one for people to fill out, but
Definitely, yeah, you should. It's a good idea. I think people have fun doing it, but Dark Horse, definitely. I think level up. I mean, yeah, I think it's gonna be a level up, and I think they have a good chance of going to the finals, even though they're fighting who's first? Aki, which is on paper, I believe, the best team.
I believe so too. They have,
Yeah,
I mean, not only do they have Xenu, who's infamous in his own right, but they got a couple strong players on there that I
yeah, and they have variety. If
surprised.
they had to play NA, they have players to play NA. If it's an EU server, they have players to play it. And yeah, they did get Xenia on back plays late. They were looking for teams. They were actually looking to join Goobers, but I wasn't like willing to really drop anyone to put them on the team, and they said it was understandable, so it wasn't really a problem.
Hmm,
It's just that when I make teams, I don't really want to drop anyone out of like getting a better player. Like if people leave, then I'll pick someone up, but I'm never dropping anyone.
I see.
But oh, sorry, I kind of went away from the question.
Oh, that's fine.
Level up because their communication is good. I've played on Level Up before. Uh, and playing with them, we beat a lot of good teams. Even though, like aim wise, they're not really capable. They know they have good chemistry, which is what you see in a lot of the SA teams in CB at least. So,
I see.
if I had to pick a dark horse, definitely them.
I see. What do you? I think. I think one last one would be. What do you think is more valued in this game? A one person's own aim or a teamwork?
That's tough. I think
Well, I
I think
guess.
it'd be teamwork because teamwork does win games. Like for the previous example, when Asgard and NTN played, Asgard had definitely players with better aim, but NTN or not NTN, it was CJ. Sorry, they like definitely had better chemistry, and that's what won them games because they were playing together, and that's what got them to the finals, I believe.
All right. That is wonderful to hear. Um, that is of course your own opinion on it, and thank you for your insight into a very complicated question I just threw at you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Do you think dropping point has any significance as well?
Uh, well, Dropping Point is a good team. Space, the owner, uh, I respect him. He's a good friend. Really for Dropping Point, just depends who plays. I'd say a select few on their team aren't exactly the people they'd be looking to start, but they definitely do have very capable players like For example, Asian Mo, he's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help him out, and they just have a couple of good players that if they play, they should. It just depends who plays for them. Like a lot of these teams are pretty balanced in their mains and subs per se, but in dropping point, I kind of see the biggest split between the main five and then the rest. So it just really depends who plays for them.
All
I
right.
think they're beating Proxy. I think they have a chance to beat Proxy though. It really just depends on the server this
Oh,
first week.
beating proxy, huh? All right.
Yeah,
Well, I thank you for allowing me to take this interview with you, and thank you
no, no
for
problem.
answering the questions I've presented. It's much appreciated.
No,
And
thank you.
I can say is good luck to you and your team for the RSL Christmas.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And
Alright.
this is Team Goobers, everyone. Are there any closing notes you want to say, Gixmer?
Um, no, really, just good luck to all the teams. And the end of the day, we're gonna like talk trash, but no hate, really.
All right. Thanks for this interview. You have a wonderful day.
You as well.